Hello and welcome to An Amazing Podcast. This is D, Modi, Matt, and Cecile, and we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen episode 17. I remember that for once.
Yeah, congratulations.
So, what did you guys think? I've been hearing that it's sort of been like in the pre-podcast discussions, it's seeming like a relatively divisive episode, so I'm interested to see where you all stand.
Well, the episode itself was very meh. Actually, no, I'll let you guys go first.
I agree.
Hey,
this is so. It's so funny how I'm always opposite of you guys. Like you're saying, actually, no, I'm not opposite of Matt because Matt was saying last week was I'm always opposite of D because D he gave it a 10 last week and I gave it a 7. This week I would give it a much higher score and I guess he won't.
Thank you. No.
Really?
Let me say this. If I had seen this episode before the Mekamaru episode, I would have given it a higher rating. And the reason for that is blonde-haired wannabe Kiki delivery service girl. I did not like her eat the whole emotional.
Am I going to be the only? Am I the only
character?
She has
am
no
I going to be
character.
the only person to defend Momo?
No.
Really?
I don't. I'm not going to.
It's going to have to be.
I'm not going to attack Momo because I don't know anything about her. Like
yeah, exactly.
When we met her this time,
you don't.
Wait, sorry. Go on. You don't start first.
Yeah, sorry. You don't have enough information to hate Momo. So I don't know why you would. Maybe Cecile does, but I don't, and I like her.
So here's my issue with Momo. Like, her big emotional aspect of this whole episode is Nobaru doesn't like Mai, which how could you not like Mai? The most lovable, friendly character in this entire show. And then she goes on this whole, she has it rough. We women in the Sorcerer Society have to work twice as hard as men, and yada, yada, yada. And don't get me wrong, sexism is a horrible thing, and that happens a lot, and it happens a lot in the real world, and it sucks in the real world. And if I watched this episode first, I would be much more in her corner. But like I said, two things. First, we just came off a story about Mekamaru. This is a man who's literally does not have a torso, is missing an arm, has glass skin, has paper skin and glass bones, and she's trying to pull the sympathy card? I mean, I don't know, glass ceiling doesn't seem that bad compared to a guy who literally has one limb. And if you want to go doubly hard on it, he also doesn't have a penis, so...
Oh my god.
Wait, does he?
You really had to be... Okay. Well, no, here's the thing. If we were to compare...
I just realized that.
If we were to compare Nobara versus Momo's fight against the previous episode, then I agree. It does hold barely any sympathetic value towards it. There's not much of an arc around her or Nobara.
Oh my god.
But...
We're going to talk about the fights, but...
I think we're forgetting that I don't think this is going to be a major moment for either of these characters. And so I don't think it's right to compare it.
Okay. Can I jump in here, please?
Yeah.
All right. It really always just astounds me how you guys can just be so wrong all the time and just
I'm agreeing with you on this one. I'm agreeing.
Can you guys please... Okay, then except for Matt, yes. D, and Cecile, can you guys have one half decent opinion for once, please? Okay, listen. Momo. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to defend Momo a little bit because, yes, I actually agree with you, D, in that the way she was used in this episode was pretty bad because she was pretty much just used as a setup for Mai, right? She was this was really Mai and Maki's episode, and Momo was just there to set up Mai's story, right? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't use this episode to judge Momo too hard. But even from what we did see of Momo, I do like her because at least she's someone who cares about her friend, and she has her own issues and troubles that she goes through, and she's trying to deal with them in her own way, right? And so that's the first part. That's the first part of me defending Momo. Second part of me defending Momo is that she's just cool. She's like a witch. And also, I'm pretty sure she I have no doubt that she could have taken down Nobara if she really wanted to.
No.
But you know, like she hold on. Let me finish that point. I'm sure she could have. Okay, she said it herself. She just like the main reason she didn't was because of she was scared of what Inumaki maybe being around, and I think that makes me like Inumaki even more. This is a slight tangent, but this makes me like Inumaki even more, and like makes me more excited to see him fight, because like the fact that he can just strike fear in the hearts of his opponents and he's not even around, that's just like so cool. So that's the one thing on Momo. And then on the fight itself, this is where I really disagree with you, Cecile and D, which is that you guys were saying this fight is not as good as last week's. This fight is way better than last week.
Okay, that's where we disagree.
I was just saying, like, the whole character aspect of it wasn't as good. Like, all the fights in this episode. Listen, my internet connection went down, and my video was buffering like every 5 seconds, and even I could still tell that this fight was super hype.
Oh, for last week or for this?
It's the character aspect.
Fight?
No, the character aspect of each individual character.
Oh, I thought I mean, we'll probably get into this more later
fights.
on, and I think Matt has something to say.
The fights were really good.
No, we'll get to the
and
fights.
And like, I like the way that they incorporated the broomstick into this, because I thought that like the way that Momo held her position on the stick gave a lot of leeway to how she moved in like the air. I thought that was so freaking cool when she like leaned back to dodge something. I don't know.
I agree.
That was really
I
dope.
agree.
But the character development, there's no development. First of all, it's only one episode. But I meant like character, I guess, personality at this moment is really like shallow.
Oh my god.
Like,
I really want to get into this.
Momo and Mai did not get much of a blow up this episode. I think like all of the spotlight character-wise was solely on Nobara and Maki.
What?
What did
You're not watching the same show.
No,
We're not watching the same show.
Oh, no.
But I think Matt's been trying to say something, right? So go ahead, Matt.
I agree with you in the same aspect of we don't know anything about her. Her entire purpose was to give that spiel about like women and like the glass ceiling with the sorcerers, which I think is an interesting concept. It's just like, why are you doing this now? It seems like they're just kind of throwing it in, like where they could have explored it better, but like in the middle of a tournament arc, like it just seemed like out of place and a little bit forced in this part of the show. I feel like if they want to explore that later on, I think they should. But like other than that, we don't know anything about her, and like her whole role has been reconnaissance, so we haven't even seen like her fight as much. Like she was just trying to escape Nabaru or whatever the hell her name is, because the focus really is on Maki and Mai this entire episode.
Back on one more thing on the Mechamaru thing, like he has to have like an insanely large amount of passive aggressiveness towards her, because he was getting pissed over like Panda like walking around carefree. This chick has 2 legs and all she does is like fly around on her fucking broomstick, and she still asks for him to do her work for her.
That's so funny.
Like this episode like made me respect Mechamaru so much more, because he's coming from the exact same situation as Mai, but he's not a dick about it. Like, sure, he's a little like
honorary.
What? Yeah.
Wait,
no,
what?
I'd say
how is he not a dick about it? He just tried to kill Panda for no reason. Like, not even within the context.
But he's not a dick to his team. Like, Maya's a dick to her team. Like,
no, she's not.
Will go out, help out his like teammates with their schoolwork. All he wants to do is like hang out with them. Maya doesn't even want to be there.
Wait, what has Mai done bad to her team? Maybe I missed it.
She hasn't done anything bad, but she just seems like kind of a dick to them.
I haven't seen that yet, though. I don't know what you're talking about there, D.
Or I think what we don't know about Mai is that she's kind of a tsundere. And especially from the scene regarding like her interacting with Toto and the pop idol. I think that at first I really initially hated her because she had like this kind of like standoffish, kind of like don't talk to me and stuff like that. I don't want to be close to you. But then when Toto like forces her technically to go meet the idol, she was a little more soft-hearted than we thought. And I thought that was a cute moment for her. I wouldn't say she hates her team, but I do definitely think that she can come off at the bad side if you don't look at her carefully enough.
I mean,
Fair
I didn't like
Fair
her
enough.
her introduction. I thought she was like, oh, this character's just kind of like a jerk for like no reason. And then I actually, I'm just gonna make
She
it.
has very good reason.
Yeah, she has a very good reason. I think.
No,
Well-
she does not have a good reason.
Okay, so this I can see how this episode is gonna go. It's gonna be like the people who understand human beings versus the people who don't. So yeah, let's go.
Wait,
Let's
you
go.
didn't understand Mekamaru though. You two
It's
didn't
gonna be
understand
me and Matt
Mekamaru.
versus.
Last episode, you didn't understand Mekamaru, but you understand Mai.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they have
Absolutely,
similar reason, like
because
somewhat similar.
No,
reasons.
no, and let me tell you why. Because Mai's anger is specific and pointed at a person for a reason, for something that they did to them.
I see
At
what you
least
mean,
something
yeah.
that she perceived they did to them. Panda didn't do anything to anyone, and Panda is not necessarily really unique amongst other people in the Jujutsu world. He just like randomly decided, I don't like this guy. Like, no, I'm not saying that Mekamaru's, background is bad, but I think it was presented bad, and I think the way he just like he was pitted against Panda, I think honestly it was just like kind of like a fan service type of thing, like, just to show the Panda guy going against the robot guy. Like, I really feel like that's the extent of it, and anything more than that is just kind of contrived and like it's not real.
I still think you're kind of
I
wrong
will
about
say
that
though
one, but
that Momo's scene definitely felt like if like the Mechamaru vs Panda fight scene was just for the sake of fan service, this felt like it existed for the sake of exposition.
Yeah, and I think that's fine.
but does anybody have anything else to say about Momo? Because I kind of move on from.
No,
No.
we can move on. From
I
Momo,
thought
yeah.
the fights in this episode were very weak compared to the last fight.
Wow.
All right, tell us why.
Like I don't know, it's just the attacks weren't all that interesting, and then the here's the thing with Panda versus Mekamaru, you could tell that there was a lot of give and take between the two people. Like Panda got like 2 of his lives like murdered, and then Mekamaru got wrecked to shit. In this, it seemed very one-sided, where Maki just absolutely bodied Mai and Blue Hair Girl to the point where I'm like, why the fuck are they on those teams?
Okay, I have a question.
Without
for
a
you,
scratch,
then,
though.
Matt.
Without a scratch.
Okay, I have a question for you, Matt. So then, do you like for you is a factor in whether or not a fight is good, whether or not there's like if it's equal? Because I think a fight can be good even if it's one-sided.
No, it could be good if it's one-sided. It's just like if the
was
character is
no
like a
tension,
complete
like-
powerhouse. Yeah, there's no tension. There's absolutely no tension to it. If this one character is just like a powerhouse, and the other characters, how am I supposed to take them seriously if like she fucking loses her sword or she catches a
Okay,
fucking
I see.
bullet, like point
Yeah.
blank catches a bullet.
I see what you're saying, and I agree that there wasn't any tension. But for me personally, I didn't mind. I thought it was. I think if you approach like looking at the fight from the perspective of, whoa, Maki is cool. Like, because to me, this fight is like showing how strong Maki is. In fact, this whole episode is, right?
Yeah.
Because the whole time, it like even from the beginning of the episode, they're like setting up these expectations that everyone thinks she's like just a 4th grade sorcerer and like she's not strong, and then at the climax of the episode when they're fighting, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, she's like bodying someone who has a gun, like she's strong, so I think if you approach it from like appreciating that aspect of it, I think it's a great fight, and it doesn't really need
It
tension
creates
if
for
you
a very
understand what it's trying to
uninteresting
do.
fight, though. It's like
Let me say
I don't
this.
think so.
I feel like this episode, these fights had a lot of really interesting spectacle to them, but I think overall, I think the Panda versus Mekamaru fight was better because you had that tension of who was going to win, what were they going to do next, and I don't think you really ever had that much in this episode. Like,
Well, no.
the Nobara versus Momo fight, Nobaru kind of felt like she had a certain sense of control over the fight. Even, like, at the end where she gets, like, sucker shot
Yeah.
by Mai. And, like Matt said about the whole Maki fight, she was always in control. And like I said, it was really, like, there were a lot of really cool, really interesting moves and stuff. but from just like I wasn't sucked in. I was blown away, and like these fights blew me away. But Panda versus Mekamaru sucked me in.
Wait, but D, what about Maki's fighting was interesting to you?
Choreography, some of the different like tactics she used, catching a bullet, Jackie Chan's dad style.
I still think the catching the bullet thing's bullshit.
What?
Okay, wait a minute.
anime,
Okay, you're watching anime. Like
I know, but it's like the Maki versus Mai should be like a big build up because they're fucking sisters. So the fact that she just like wipes her aside to me is just very
No, okay.
disappointing.
Can I go into something? Okay, so
Also, just one real quick thing for Cecile.
yeah.
I love how we just got finished watching a show about magical curses, talking puppet pandas, mechs controlled by crippled people, and magical shape-shifting demons. And
I draw the
this
line
is
at
the
catching
point.
a bullet. I draw that line
Oh
of a
my
person who doesn't
God.
even like only uses magically imbued stuff. If she had like moved out of the way or something, or I don't know, like they could have like I don't know, some like kind of wound on her hand or something. I don't know. She just like catches it and like, ha, fuck you. Like especially on her like special move. But like this to me is kind of like nothing compared to how I actually feel about Maki as a character, at least so far, like what they've shown. But if you guys want to talk about the fight still, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, what are you
I
gonna
need
say,
to have
Cecile?
a say in this, though.
Okay.
Okay. So since I'm such a huge supporter of Maki, but I'm gonna go into the fight a little bit. I see that like, according to what I've heard, apparently you guys are like supporting like a more of a fan regarding the Mecha Maru versus Panda, right? Because there was no relative like overpowering one another, but in a way you just have like you don't really support one side or the other, or I don't know what you guys are saying at this point, but I don't see the intention of knowing which side was gonna win between Mekamaru and Panda, so I just didn't really have that much of an attachment. Like I needed to know what was their intentions in winning and stuff like that, how that was gonna play out. I might have missed that part, so my apologies. But versus like the one fight between Maki and Mai, the intention is to show that despite having no cursed abilities, she's able to see Maki's able to see things as they are in the normal quote unquote world, and able to overcome that with her superhuman
yes,
strength.
there we
right?
go. There we
Yes.
go. Yes, you're saying the things that my brain was too small to come up with. There we go. That's it, Cecile.
Okay,
So let's just all
no,
agree.
no. Like, can I finish this?
Yep, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so no, it's okay. So there's a clear intention why this needs to be portrayed as a one. I think it has an intention of portraying it as a one-sided fight, but more importantly, I think it definitely goes into each character, as well as like, despite Mai having this intention of wanting to be, not even just want to be stronger, but like showing her as who she really is. She never wanted to be strong in the first place. She never had the intention of becoming the best jujutsu sorcerer, or even jujutsu sorcerer herself, right? And so I think that goes into how the fight was being portrayed as one-sided. Mai never wanted this. And that's why I
But
think it's so more powerful.
You've only it's powerful. It makes me hate Maki so much. Like
My biggest issue with Mai's backstory is Maki just decided, like, yeah, Gramps, I'm out, bye. Why couldn't Maki just, like, piece the heck out? Why couldn't Mai do that? Why couldn't she be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get me a studio apartment in Kyoto, yeah, like, I'm done with this, bye.
it's not that
I think
easy.
she was too pressured to by her family. Like, just after seeing their older sibling, her older sibling leave to eventually come back later. That's what Maki said. But she thought that maybe Maki was going to be gone for good. So the family pressure of knowing that she's going to be the only person left to take over the head, that's why she had to. She's more of a cowardly being than we initially thought her to be.
I wouldn't call her
And-
cowardly. That's
I say
she
that's
said
more
she
of a
wanted to stay
her
at the
problem,
bottom.
though. Like, that's the kind of the issue I have with, like, Mai, is that, oh, why couldn't we both be, like, terrible? Why couldn't we all just suck? Why did you have to try so hard?
I don't think that's her
Like-
motivation at all. Like I think it's just that she needed someone there for her, and then like Maki just made a promise that she'd be there for her, and then like left her. to on this path that she did not want to take. I think a lot of people who have like older siblings or any siblings can like really relate to this like Mai's sort of like these heavy expectations to put on her, and then the fact that like she was the only one, like Maki was the only person that she had, and then Maki just kind of like pieces out, and
that's
then when she like even when Mai explains this to her, Maki's just kind of like, sorry, I guess, and then she leaves her, which I hate.
No, here's the thing. I think you're putting down Maki for more than she really is. She said that she would come back to become the head of the Zenin clan, right? But I think from an older sibling perspective, what she was trying to do was become stronger to be able to overcome the head and then become the head. And I think what she was intending to do is reform the traditional ways of the clan that was like causing a lot of pain to both of them. And she would come back, and hopefully by becoming the head, she would be able to relieve Mai of the like her quote unquote.
But there's absolutely no sorry. There's absolutely no like sympathy from her to her younger sibling. Like if anything, she actively seeks her out and humiliates her. Like
okay,
but
intentional or not.
Always murder your older siblings.
All right, sick.
Sasuke style. Okay, so I actually do agree with that. Although I'm a Maki fan, I do agree that she probably could have shown more sympathy. But at the end of the day, I don't have any problem with the decision she made to leave, because it's like at the end of the day, like you can't like. That's just not who she is. She's not just gonna stay there and like do chores and chill for the rest of her life. If she wants to be a sorcerer, she's gonna have to be a sorcerer. She can't just be tied down by her sister. And I think Mai, although I like Mai because she's like a very understandable character, I think it's unreasonable kind of to like put that on Maki. And I agree with what you said, D, that I mean, yeah, she could. I mean, she kind of should just, be like grow stronger and just say, leave the clan and go to college and enjoy her life the way she wants to enjoy it, if that's what she wants to do.
It's so easy to say that, though, but when you're in that situation, it's like really hard to escape that.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying I'm not saying yeah, but they're different people. I'm not saying she's worse as a person or as a character for being the way she is. I'm just saying there is a point that I like, if I was in this world and I was like judging them, right, I would be like, yeah, you can't really blame Maki for doing what she did. Like she's living her life. You should try to live yours too.
I know. Okay, so if you look at let's go back to Panda and Mekamaru. You have a situation that like you have two people who can relate to like a situation, except Panda was the one that was able to overcome it, and Mekamaru was kind of stuck in his like own hateful like bathtub, yeah. And like there was a moment where multiple times where Panda tries to reach out to Mekamaru and says like, oh, if you want, I can come over and I can like help you or whatever. Here it just feels, but then Mekamaru turns it away because he's so like deep in his like hatred. Whereas here it just seems like I don't see any like sort of sympathy or connection from Maki. Like even in the flashback where she leaves, there's no like heartfelt goodbye. There's no like when she tells her story, it's just like this like I don't really care and goes away. Like I agree with you, she shouldn't have to be held down by people, but like the least she could do is try to be like understanding.
So that's the reason you don't like Maki?
At least from what I've seen so far, like if there's like gives me more reason, but this is all I know about Maki.
I think that's
very fair. Yeah.
I think that's a good reason to not like her. I still like her, but I think that's understandable. Yeah, I think that's a good reason.
And I'm kind of like tired of the whole like character that's like I want to be the best for the sake of being the best, and then like
you fell into the wrong genre, my friend.
I know. That's why I don't like. One of the things I don't like shonen. But as far as I know,
other motivations are there.
As far as I know, though, as far as what I've seen, she doesn't really have any other motivation. And then the fact that like she even like went out and pursued her, like this wasn't a situation where Mai hunted down Maki and wanted to like prove something. Like, I don't know, it's just the whole thing of Mai being forced into this like life that she didn't want. Like, she's terrified of the whole like demon thing. We even saw as a kid she's terrified of the whole demon things and really like relied for Maki for help and support. And then yes, I don't think Maki should have to like be forced to do that, but the fact that she just kind of like left, like, I think if that happened to any of us would suck.
Yeah, it would suck, but I would like it would suck, but I wouldn't blame Maki. I would be like, damn, that sucks, but I don't blame you.
I think it's really easy to say outside, but like
no. Listen, it's the most reasonable thing to not blame someone for living their life. You know, like that's literally the most reasonable thing. Like, I think it's very few people. I think they do exist. I think it's real, and that's why I think Mai is a good character. But I think she's being unreasonable.
If you had a family member that was cursed, right, and they were forced to do something that they hate, would you kind of just leave them? Be like, it's not my problem.
Couldn't you just like flip it right back around? Like, Maki is being forced to do something she hates, which is not be a sorcerer. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, it's you could just flip it right back around. The only reason Maki
but to leave someone behind, like
but the only reason Maki is less at fault than Mai is because Maki isn't putting any of her problems on people. She's doing what she wants to do, right? Whereas Mai is blaming Maki for something that really can't be helped.
Maki
like,
also
people are
made
going
a
to be who they're
promise
going
to
to be.
Mai, though.
This is a promise as elementary schoolers. You think you're really gonna be able to maintain
as a sibling,
promise?
though? Okay, as someone that's really close.
Even as a sibling.
I don't want to get into it because it's gonna get really personal with me, and I don't want to get personal here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, as someone that grew up with a sibling and had to go through some really tough times, like, if I had left my sibling or they had left me, like, I think it would have been I would be in a much worse state than I am, and probably like. Kind of like, so that's why this entire like dynamic between the two to me is just like I do see why she blames Maki, and I feel like a lot of people who grew up in the same sort of like shitty situation would also do the same.
Dang, getting real today. Nice.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get into it.
Let's just all agree on a couple things. Maki's awesome. Cecile's a simp for Maki, and robots are cool.
I'm a simp for Maki too.
Well, if Maki had taken, like, what if she took Mai with her or something, or at least stood up for Mai before
Mai
she
didn't
left?
want to go. That's the thing I'm saying, that like they both fundamentally wanted different things. Like, when that happens, what do you do? When two people fundamentally want different things, what happens?
I didn't see a clear like thing where it was like there was a separation between the two, because it didn't really show anything.
You're right. It probably could have been shown better. A lot of backstories can be shown better. You know, we always, like, a lot of the time, especially me and D, we talk about like the Naruto backstories and how they spend a long time on them, but that might not actually be too terrible of a thing compared to like spending not enough time to build up backstories. So yeah.
I think it would have been better if Maki tried to lend a hand towards Mai, and then Mai rejected it due to her hatred. Yeah. I feel like that would have made me like Maki better. Instead,
I definitely think I was just gonna say, I definitely think it's a very, very fair criticism of Maki that she just kind of seemed heartless. Like, I don't blame her for doing what she did, but she could have done it in like a nicer way.
Yes.
Because can I
give an explanation on...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, this might be, I don't know. I was going to give another explanation why Maki and this battle is going to be is technically the best battle I've ever seen so far. Sorry. But I was going to go into that, but that might be a little bit off topic of what we're talking about, right? So if you have any more thoughts about characters and stuff like that, then go for it. But I was going to go into something else.
Yeah, I have other things I want to talk about too, so you can start and you can go into unless anyone else has something.
Because I was about to go into the background music for the fight against Maki and Mai, the three major the songs that were chosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's also a main problem in this section where I'm gonna get into a little bit for a while, so this might take a bit. But I think the people who animated this or the directors behind this had difficulty in choosing appropriate music to these scenes. Did I love the music? Absolutely. Was it appropriate for specific sections? I think not. And I have like of course a reason to say that. So the first song that was introduced was when we were getting Mai's background and like Maki's background, their difficult past and stuff like that. So they chose something more sentimental with like emotional value, right? And that's a standard choice. Of course, we're gonna go for something like that if we're gonna do something about their like difficulties and stuff like that. But the choice of an acoustic guitar as the instrumental was I disagree with it. And the main reason is because I think they could have chosen Japanese koto or a wooden flute, something that is more related to their inherent culture, so that we could add in value of like background music being like supporting some kind of like thesis or message in the story. So if we chose something that's more related to their traditional culture, it could have added to the meaning of the Zenin family, the Zenin clan.
That's
And
true.
so the acoustic guitar really doesn't have anything to do with their culture. I don't know why they chose it. It sounded nice, but it doesn't add value to this scene, right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's
I
what I was
agree.
saying about
I
that
think
one.
I think you're right. But I also think it's not like I wouldn't like, be too harsh on it just because I feel like that's kind of a high standard. Maybe it's not, but I feel like it is because most anime don't ever put that much effort into like into
True,
you
but they
know
should.
they should.
But
Yeah,
the thing is,
yeah.
they shown that they can do it with the background music between the fight scene between Maki and Mai, right? The one with the oh my god! If you didn't notice, they used the same melody, so this piece was probably the extended version of the mission music, the second part. Do you know what I'm talking about? I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah,
how.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's an extended version of that, right? So already they're
Oh.
showing that they could use motifs and stuff like that. Does it add to the value? No, not really. But what I was gonna go into was the piano and the string orchestra, right? You said Matt said that there was no tension regarding the fight, right? And I think I would say differently because of the background music. In the background music, we can hear during like the Kyoto school sensei, how she was describing my secret technique or something like that. Yo, I think this is like the best tension like building technique in music that you can do, where you use a rhythmic motif of 1, 2, and 3, and this is also in 3, 4, I believe, and they transition that like rhythmic pattern of like, and this is at like a BPM of 160 or 180, so it's like really fast paced, right? So it almost feels like it's a drumming in your heartbeat, and transitioning it into eighth/16th note runs on the string instruments. I'm assuming mostly the violins. Uh, let's just say that it was such a good move because 16 note runs are often used to like go rising and descending and ascending and like descending, kind of like a tension movement. And then at the climax, I was so happy that this happened, and I think it's like such a overly used but such a great technique of using the string instruments. Oh my god, I was fangirling so hard. The string instruments on the tonic chord, and so that means it feels like it's completed. The song is complete. So the chords are being sustained for like a long while with the strings like and stuff like that, and they have the piano on top of it with like kind of like small runs and stuff like that, but it's almost like replicating like a starry kind of feel on top. I don't know if you guys were listening that deep into it, but I was like fangirling about this entire moment, and it was such a hyping kind of process for the fight that might have been animated in a way that seems underwhelming, but the music, oh my god. I was dying at this part.
Music nerd alert.
Shut. But, like-
to be fair, I feel like Jujutsu's music has been sort of upping in quality during the second half. So total props to it.
I didn't I didn't notice the music at all in this episode,
Same.
but I really do need to, especially after everything you said, Cecile. Like, it is interesting now to think about like how they don't just kind of use random music to match the mood. They probably have like motifs and themes that they're trying to play in. So I feel like I would probably enjoy it more if I actually started paying attention to the OST more. Yeah.
So with this background music, this piece specifically, you know that this, like the music producers for this animation studio knows how to use tension in music, knows how to use motifs throughout different pieces. But do I still think it's appropriate for the scene? Again, I do kind of think that this background music, as much as I loved it, overhyped the battle. Because here's the thing, I might be doing a little something. I don't think it's a spoiler, but you're not gonna get anything else from Maki and Mai in the future episodes or seasons. And that's why I think it's an overhype. This is such a dramatic moment that it's almost like too much. You're anticipating more from them. They're not
Okay, so
giving
your whole
any more of that.
setup theory thing was kind of like they're setting up a power that they're never going to use.
So like,
To be fair, that's
It's not
really
pro-
disappointing.
yeah, it's
No,
not
okay.
appropriate. The background music was so not appropriate, but I loved it.
I feel like I say this every week, okay? But just because things won't happen for a long time doesn't mean they won't happen. I think they're going to happen. Okay, listen, Jujutsu Kaisen as a manga is probably like what, 2.5 years old? It's literally at the it's baby stages. It's baby stages. So like
I shouldn't have to wait for 3 seasons for payoff, though.
Yeah, that's fine, whatever. But like this is also this is also like the thing with my theories. You guys keep shutting down my theories. Hey, listen, this is, I'm playing a long game here, okay? I'm playing a long game. I can see the future, okay? I know 5 years, 7 years down the line I'm going to be proven right. Oh, in fact, that reminds me, time for another segment of drum roll Modi's predictions.
Oh my
okay?
god.
Okay,
I have-
also, real
I
quick,
quit.
Modi, just one small thing. I can't wait 3 years for payoff, okay? Life is short. We could all be dead.
How can you-
in
We're going to
No.
get isekai by
I don't-
next
I
year
don't-
with like a meteor, okay?
Like,
D,
I am literally on my 7th cup of coffee today. Like, I don't know how many years I have left.
That goes back to my point about these episodes being too short. I cannot do 20 minutes each week.
okay, listen. I can take that kind of statement from Matt, right? Who's like pretty much a noob. But you, D, I know you've watched 700 episodes of Naruto just like me. Don't tell me you can't wait, okay? Like you are a shonen fan, okay? You are in this for the long haul. Jujutsu Kaisen, even if it goes 20 years, you will still be right there in front of your computer watching
No,
it. Okay,
no. Let me tell you this. No, Modi, read the
I'm not going
freaking
to deny
manga.
that.
No. Modi, read the freaking manga and tell me that the arc that we are on is not literally similar to the final arc of Demon Slayer, and tell me that's not going to end after this arc.
I have
Tell
okay,
me.
so I haven't
Tell me.
seen. Okay, so I've barely seen any Demon Slayer, and also I'm not caught up on the manga for this, so I don't know. Maybe you're right, but I still I don't think so. But maybe after this season ends, I'm gonna catch up and I'll see. Maybe I'll take back everything I have to say. But for now, I'm gonna give you one of my not my prediction, more like my prophecies, because it's certain to happen.
Before we get to your genius prophecies, can we address to the Matt's comments of last episode section? That's my hype right now.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. So
Ooh, nice.
yeah, read them out. What are the comments?
Okay, Hamzy says Maki has cursed energy. She's basically a normal person, though, meaning she can't use it. I think this episode proved you wrong, Hamzy. She can apparently catch a speeding bullet at her face right in front of her.
Dude,
okay,
like,
yes.
you can't
Actually,
catch
I
a
have.
speeding bullet. Like, you don't need curse energy to do that.
Okay, that
need
actually
train.
reminds me. That reminds me of something. A couple things I want to say about that. First of all, with the speeding bullet thing, I'm gonna assume, because I do agree that was kind of bullshit. Like, I'm gonna assume, and I'm just gonna hope that was like a rubber bullet or something. Like, because I mean, at the very least, you're right, Matt. Like, her hand should have at least gotten injured or something, right?
Yeah.
And then my
Dude,
second
I love
point.
how you were just like going on a rant, defending shonen bullshit, and now we're calling out a different type of shonen bullshit.
Well, no, because this brings me to my second point, which is, and in fact, D, you'll know this because way early on when we first started reviewing the series, I was talking about how it kind of took me off guard how the characters, even when they're not using cursed energy, are still really like super powered. Like, remember when Sukuna blasted Megumi through like 3 buildings and Megumi just got up, and I was like, what was that? That's crazy, right? So even within shonen, I still have like at least, okay, also with Jujutsu Kaisen, I get a feeling of more realism, so it does actually surprise me when things like catching bullets happens, especially for someone who's not a cursed energy user. But that brings me to my other thing I wanted to say about Maki, which is that to me, she's pretty much like the Rock Lee of Jujutsu Kaisen, except I really wish she would be, I think it would be cooler if she had to actually work for all that physical ability that she has like Rock Lee did, but rather she's just born that way. So I think it's kind of, it's a bit more boring. But maybe then it would be like obvious. It would be like too obvious of a callback if like she was literally like, just like Rock Lee and had to like work hard for it. But yeah, continue with the comments.
Oh, can I say one more thing about that? I think, okay, here's the thing with her catching the bullet. I don't have a problem with her catching a bullet. I have a problem with her catching a bullet as a way to defeat the fight. Like Mai's final, like, her big god move, right, was to summon an extra bullet to put her off guard. And then she just, like, kind of catches it. Whereas, like, with Panda versus Mekamaru, like, the reason why Panda was able to, like, wait, how did that end, anyways? Did Mekamaru do his, like, final move, but he, like...
You already forgot.
He does his final...
It was a week ago.
So, Mekamaru predicts where Panda's final core is, it being the spot in his body that has the most curse energy. And then when he swings for the attack, it gets revealed that Panda can... concentrate his cursed energy into different points, thus distracting, thus making Mekamaru aim in the wrong direction.
Oh, okay, yeah, so in that scenario, it was, like, Panda, outsmarted Mekamaru, and Mekamaru completely underestimated him. Here, it was just like, oh yeah, she caught the bullet. Like, I don't know, nothing about Maki beforehand had told me she was fast enough to where she could catch a bullet. So the fact that they chose that as the resolution,
I mean, she was fast enough to dodge bullets. I mean, okay, either way, I'm not going to argue that because I also had a problem with that scene in general. So I'm not going to get into, like, the nitty-gritty of, like, why it was bad. But, yeah.
I just think it was a dumb way to resolve the fight. Is what I'm saying.
Man, I wish this show, I miss the good old days when this show was realistic, where a person would get where they did normal, rational, scientific stuff, like getting slapped 50 feet in the air and knocked through 5 buildings.
You want me to tell you?
Like, Gojo, it made sense, though, because he's supposed to be, like, overpowered. They established this from, like, the beginning. So him, like, flying around and moving so quick, like, in the blink of an eye, like, makes sense because that's, like, the character they're trying to portray.
What's the ultimate reference of, like, what shonen should have been? It's when your character gets, like, stabbed or shot, and they're supposed to die, but then they don't, like Sword Art Online, and, Kirito getting stabbed and not dying.
I really don't want to get deep into this, but I just have to say this, which is that my main issue with this when it comes to Jujutsu Kaisen is that usually in series where characters are have like crazy physical abilities, I'm able to accept it because usually it's in a fantasy world, right? Like, but in this world, this is, for all intents and purposes, it's a completely normal world. All all the humans are normal humans except for the fact that some are able to use cursed energy. So I would think that the only thing that could make you superpowered is if you have cursed energy, which is why to me it doesn't make sense that Yuji is like apparently so crazy strong and Nobara is, I mean not, and Megumi is so strong even without his powers, and you know, and that the fact that Maki can catch bullets, you know. So that's my thing with it, but I just like accept that anyway. Like it's not, I don't even want to.
To me, it
I don't care.
drains
At the end
all
of the day,
the
it's
like
tiny.
future
I think
tension.
They mentioned they actually did give an explanation for like Maki's strength, where her ability to see curses got exchanged for greater physical prowess.
Is that, I didn't take that literally. I just took that metaphorically. Like, oh, she didn't get this, but she has that. But I don't know. Maybe you're right.
Maybe. I just think it's
Also,
it's a
again,
dumb way
this
to
is
resolve
anime.
it.
If you
Yeah,
can't
again,
get
Dalton, it's
hit
okay she can
by
catch
Yeah,
bullets.
that's why I don't even want to get like, I'm mad at
Yeah.
myself for even talking so much about it and like going to detail about why I don't like it, because I know at the end of the day it's pointless. Like it is what it is, and it's not going to ruin the show for me. So you know.
Also, I just want to point out two things. First thing, Matt, you've been watching way too much Breaking Bad. You're way too grounded. You need to like.
No, Dalton, you're not listening to me. It's not because she can catch bullets. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Second, Cecile called Sword Art Online shonen. I just need to like address that. Just
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It wasn't
God,
even.
you guys can't take a
It was just the
joke.
resolution. I don't care that she can catch bullets. Like, if she could catch, if they'd showed him before, like she could has the ability to catch bullets, then I've been fine with it. It's just like how they decided to resolve the fight. I thought was dumb.
I just realized
To
that.
be fair, though,
no.
I think her deflecting like cutting the bullet in half with her sword was pretty. Was a
Okay, that's
really
also
good way of
stupid,
sort of
though.
building that up.
Yeah,
That's how it's in real life.
That's not how it works.
I think the thing is, I think what Matt is really trying to say is that if Maki can catch bullets, she can catch these hands. And I think Matt's about to literally fight Maki.
I'll fight Maki. Oh, okay, here's another thing. The sisters' school is so shit. They've lost one fight, but that's just because Maki sniped Nobaru from like across the fucking battlefield. Otherwise, they've lost every. They could even be like leagues above the person they're fighting, and they'll still fucking lose.
I thought you guys were literally supporting like
I do.
Kyoto, like the
I like their
sisters being the
characters
best
better.
character.
I like
Oh,
their
okay.
character. I think the dynamic between the characters is more interesting, and I
Okay.
still stand by. We'll get to that once we get to that comment. But like, I just want to say, I have a feeling that they're all gonna fucking lose the fight, which is kind of disappointing. I kind of wanted there to be some like back and forth of like, they put up a good fight, but sometimes the sister school wins and sometimes the other class wins. So far, the only one I'm convinced is powerful is Toto.
Yep.
But that's because his love for beautiful women with big asses. Also, him not being in this episode automatically brings it down a score for me. So,
Oh,
oh god, I'm kidding. Okay,
no, it's actually a
Hamzy.
fair argument.
Hamzy also says.
We're all in agreement.
Hamzy also says, "I can't wait for this series to prove you guys wrong." I agree, Hamzy. I do want it to prove me wrong. I want it to.
I will not be proven wrong. Honestly, like
Thanks
I
for the
just
comments, all you guys. We really appreciate it. And we love
Yeah.
like having.
I don't know why you guys think
it's
we're-
really nice.
Why you guys
I-
even watch this? But yeah, go on.
I mean, actually, I don't even have anything to say. I just know I'm right, and yeah, and it is what it is.
Okay, you
Continue on.
you could fight with
I'm
Hamzy on
looking
that.
forward to prove me wrong. Like I'm like this. That's either a positive statement or a negative statement, because there are some things I'm worried about it like failing at, and I definitely hope it proves me wrong right there. But I really hope that is not a sarcastic comment, and this pulls a Game of Thrones season 8. I think that's a safe bet of that not happening, but I'm so looking forward to continuing to watch this show. Aside from my elder shonen fan, monkey brain ADHD.
Okay, so Adam Khalid says Kyoto's school characters are second-rate characters except for Toto and Mekamaru. Our main three characters are
Perfect.
still better characters than everyone else in both schools, and you will realize this the more you watch. although the villains and antagonists that are coming in the future are even more interesting than everyone else. Adam, I hope you're correct.
I agree. Oh my god,
Adam.
I love the villains. I freaking love the villains. Oh my god, what was his name?
Mike?
No, the other guy. The guy with the scars on his head, and then the Jujutsu sorcerer. I love that man. Oh my god, I'm okay. So first, okay, best character Gojo, of course. Second, Maki. Third, Ghetto. That's
Okay, putting
it.
Maki at your
That's
second
my
is
list.
insulting to all the other characters that are on this show. In this show,
You're
but-
insulting to all my other characters.
Okay, this is gonna sound again super controversial, but I am willing to rank Maki as number 3 best girl in the show.
Best girl.
Thank you.
You said best girl. You didn't say best boy. Everyone knows whoever the hell
Best
that
girl.
assistant's name is the best boy.
Whatever.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm revising my ranking. Maki's number 4. So in terms of best girls, Maki's number 4, Meiwa's number 3, Nobaru's
Nope, never
number
mind.
2,
I don't like
and then
you.
Gojo's number 1.
That's true. Okay, so Adam, one thing I want to tell you, dear sweet Adam, is that I agree with you. I think there are going to be second-rate characters because I don't think we're going to see much of them, and I think like what we've seen is like a doorway to more interesting things, but that we're just not going to get. But to me, I just like the characters better because they seem like they have more of like a back and forth dynamic where they're like all kind of like these outcasts. Kind of like in, let's say, Guardians of the Galaxy, you just have like an entire team filled with like just shitty people, and then you like bring them together and they like learn a lesson about family or some shit. I like that better than just like they all love each other. I mean, not to say they all love each other, but they're all like. It doesn't seem like there's much
They all
conflict between the characters so
tolerate
far.
each other.
Yeah, there doesn't seem like to be much conflict between the characters of our main cast, which is why I think Nabaru is one of the more interesting of the quote unquote good guys, because she at least seems like she has some conflict going on with Mr. Kaisen or whatever.
Oh my god.
I still don't remember his name. I don't remember his name.
Bro, it's been
Everyone
like a
listening,
month.
Everyone listening.
He hasn't been in the
Everyone,
last
like,
2 episodes.
If you ever feel insulted by Matt's comments, remember
Feel free
Rick
to attack him in the
Sanchez.
comments.
No, just like
Rick
remember
Sanchez.
Rick Sanchez. Your boos mean nothing. We've seen what makes you cheer.
I just realized looking at a picture of Gojo, he looks
That's
like
facts.
Rick from Rick and Morty, as younger.
That's disrespectful.
I hope I ruined your.
Yeah, just had to invite a guy who hates anime onto the podcast, Modi.
But okay, so I mean, I already kind of responded to that comment, but I'll just expound on it a little bit. That makes sense to me. I fully expect the villains to get more interesting. They better get more interesting because you know they're the antagonists. But I stick to my guns, and I will be right that this isn't like, it's not like this is it for these characters, these secondary characters that we're seeing. They're gonna play more important roles later on. So
Yeah, season
that's all I have
12.
to say. Yeah, maybe season 12, and yeah.
Because Remekamaru is here to help
Doesn't
us.
happen- If it doesn't happen, I will be bragging until the next big shonen comes out.
Okay.
We're gonna be
Alright,
dead
we'll see.
before all these shonen anime are done. My Hero's gonna
Okay,
be on
but
like
also-
season 112 by the time like we're 90.
But also to add a little bit of what I've been saying a lot is I do think there is a general trend of like, especially Shonen Jump series lately are shorter, and I don't think that's bad. Like I think it's a good thing. So I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be as long as like Naruto or One Piece or anything crazy like that. But I definitely think it's like it's at its beginning stages, you know. So
You know, a show like
I'm pretty sure
Supernatural
One Piece-
taught me. Wait, sorry, go on.
I'm pretty sure One Piece will last longer than any relationship I could ever hope to have in my life.
Oh.
let's hope.
That's already a low bar, though. Sorry. I think if Supernatural has taught me anything, is that shows only get better as they go on, right? The longer they go on.
Like Game
Same
of
with
Thrones.
Family Guy, same with Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Okay, go.
So, my theory is that at some point in the series, probably late game, either Maki or actually no, Maki will die, and I think
Don't hurt me like that. Oh,
and she
I
and
hope.
she will die protecting Mai, and
oh
yeah, that's
my
my theory.
heart. Oh no.
That would be
That's
very
even
interesting.
worse.
Oh, no.
I actually no, I would love that. I would love that shit
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
And then Maya
I
has to
think
deal
it's-
with the fact that she lived in like hatred of Maki
Well,
for like something she
I
can't
don't
control.
think. Well, no, I think it's not gonna be like that. I think by the time she dies protecting Mai will have developed a bit, like character developed a bit, and she's gonna take on the mantle / goal of becoming the head of the clan. So I think that's my theory, and 100% sure that's gonna happen. So you just wait for that. You know,
I hope
many years
so.
from now, you guys
I
will
hope
see
your
him.
theory is correct, but I feel like they're gonna kill Mai before they kill Maki.
nah, I don't think.
I don't
I don't
know.
think.
The
I don't think.
writer of this is too good for that.
I don't think deaths are deaths don't really happen much in these types of series, I think. And when they do, they're like, you know, they're supposed to be for something or mean something. Like usually, especially if it's a character you're supposed to like, usually that character will die protecting someone or dying in a very cool way. So I think if that's going to happen, the best way it would play out is if Maki died protecting Mai. It could be the other way around, but I think it would be slightly better if Maki died protecting Mai.
You know what I thought was going to be very interesting? This goes back to another episode that I wasn't here on the podcast. When Mr. Jujutsu Kaisen dies, quote unquote dies, I was like, wait, no, the show's not doing... I knew they weren't going to do it. I knew they were going to bring it back, but I'm like, well, what if they just, like, continued without him? And, like, them, and then you just are left with these, like... I thought that would have been really interesting. I still think it's fine that they brought him back, because I kind of liked him and his whole dynamic with the, like, sorcerer living inside of him. But I still feel like it would have been interesting if they went the other route. But
Yeah,
I don't think they'll ever do that.
I think, I guess, yeah, it's true. I agree. It would be interesting, but I just don't see how it could, like, thinking from a writer's perspective, I have no idea how I would ever pull that off. I don't see how anyone would pull it off. So,
You could.
but it would be very
You would
interesting.
have to do something like Hunter x Hunter, where you
Yeah,
develop
exactly.
a character long enough for people to like. You have to develop a strong cast of people that the audience
Yes.
will like. That way, when you switch to the new protagonist, it doesn't feel as abrupt.
Yeah, that's totally it. Yeah, you have to have a strong cast if you're gonna do that. And yeah, I don't think the supporting cast is strong enough to. Maybe no, not Gojo.
No, he's the mentor character. He's not supposed to...
Gojo is
Gojo.
liked. He's liked, but he's not like main character material. You know.
Wait,
Yeah.
speaking of Gojo, is he gonna be immortal, or is he gonna grow up to be like that handsome grandpa who flirts with every girl he can?
Definitely the handsome
Gil from
grandpa.
the show.
Yes.
Do you think he's going to last that
Gojo-
long? They
I-
implied him dying.
I have a prediction for Gojo. Gojo is he's gonna quit being a sorcerer, and he's gonna just calm down. He's gonna just become like a really chill person. He's gonna move out to the country with Utahime, and they're gonna get married and have children and live happily ever after. And it's just gonna be like the chillest ending for someone who's such a crazy character. Wow, I didn't expect to have two quality spot on predictions.
I feel like they're gonna disable his powers somehow, because there's no
Yeah.
way they're gonna continue forward and have him.
I wouldn't be
around.
surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that
Yeah,
happened.
because they foreshadowed that a little
what
bit
if- hold
earlier.
on.
They're gonna all might him.
What
you
if
know.
what if Gojo like sacrifices his power to like protect Yuji from dying because
Yeah.
of the Sukuna curse? Oh my god.
I think that's a really good
I'd support
theory
that,
because
yeah.
because when you think about it, Gojo is like, you know, you can't argue. It's inarguable that he is the strongest character. But the main character is Yuji, which means that at the end of the day, endgame, it's going to be Yuji versus Sukuna, which means by definition, Gojo has to be out of the picture in some way, right?
Yeah.
Or Yuji has to become stronger than Gojo, which would be crazy to see. So I think those are the only two options. But yeah, I think that's a good theory.
Again, I think they're going to All Might him. He's just going to be like lose his powers, and he's just kind of like in this mentor ship role for the rest of the series. But only that, like he can't really protect him anymore.
Yeah, that's possible.
So since we're on an hour, how would you guys rate the episode?
Go you go first. You go first, D.
Yeah.
7. Excellent fight, but the character work I think was a little bit on the weaker side.
Okay. Anyone else?
6.
Matt.
6.
Dang.
Wow.
My normal ratings are
Disappointed.
7. My normal ratings are 7. That's not.
Yeah, actually, that
unreasonable.
doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. And Cecile?
No, I think you should go first.
Okay. My score would be an 8 or an 8.5, I would say, for this episode.
Dang.
I really liked the episode. I think I really don't have any problems with it. I thought it was a great episode. It's just like not one of the best episodes I've ever seen of a show, which is why I probably wouldn't give it a 9. But like it's very high quality episode. Don't have any criticisms of it really, except for like small things. So yeah, 8.5.
I'm tempted to do a
Okay.
5.5, but go on.
Okay, to be fair, the episode, like, if we were to look at a general perspective, I would agree with a 9. Sorry. I'm
That's
so
low for
sorry.
you.
I'm hurting myself by saying
It's so
this.
low for you.
But, no, yeah. But if I was focusing only on the music and just Maki and her glorious being of existence, that's a 10 out of 10 for me. I love the music. I love the character, even if there was some off-putting parts of each aspect. But the episode itself, I agree, it's not comparable to the other one. So I'm gonna also give it a 9. I feel so bad. I like Maki a lot. Why am I giving it a 9? Fuck it, 10.
No, I think
Oh my god, she was so close to not giving a 10 for once, but at the end she just couldn't do it.
I think it's
That's
fair to
actually
be
so
like
funny.
these elements of the episode are really strong, but like overall, I think these other elements drag it down. Like you can still appreciate certain elements of it, but everything else is kind of like bad enough to where the overall episode is dragged down, even if you really like the parts of Maki and the. Okay.
Yeah. I'm salty.
All right, fuck it. I'm rating mine down to a 5.5. Fuck you guys.
Damn it.
I only
Alright,
enjoyed little parts of it.
Jujutsu Kaisen, step your game up. You have to impress Matt because my dream.
I'm your target audience.
Let me tell you guys my dream for by the time this season ends. I want to see Matt give this an 8, and I also want to see Cecile give this an 8. Those are my dreams for this review.
You're trying to lower my expectations. And
Yeah.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah, because
Okay.
neither of you guys is reasonable. So
You're more unreasonable.
I want
alright.
I want both of you guys to give it an
Okay.
8
A
at
5
some
out of
point.
10 for me is total meh. It's just completely meh. Like 5.5 is like I enjoyed it a little bit, but there's still elements of it that bothered me enough to where I was like kind of frustrated watching it.
Yeah, I want you to have an episode where like you genuinely enjoy it
Okay.
and don't have many criticisms. Like I want to have a podcast where like I'm the main bad guy, you know. That's
But
what I want.
like a 9 out
You
of
wanna
10
be
has
the
to be like a
antagonist.
Breaking Bad episode. Like you gotta really, they gotta really. I don't think they'll get to the like 9. You have to be a really fucking good episode to be 8.
Okay. All right. So any last comments from anybody?
I love the music. I love Maki. Oh my god, she's so sweet. Let me go on.
Alright then, that's been our review of Jujutsu Kaisen. Tune in next time where we will hopefully where these guys will have hopefully less crappy opinions. And until then, stay safe and like, comment, and subscribe.
All
Don't.
right. Bye.
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 Bye. Screw you.